Good afternoon, everyone. I am Cheris A. Pangan and my partner is John De Mayordo, and our topic is all about process selection, design, and analysis. So for today's agenda, we have here the key takeaways. So the first one is that we will be going to describe the four types of processes used to produce goods and services. And then the second one is to explain the logic and use of the product process matrix and service positioning matrix. Then the third one is to describe how to apply process and value stream mapping for process design. And then the fourth one is that explain how to improve process designs and analyze process maps. And lastly, we'll be describing how to compute resource utilization and apply the Little's law. So first, we're going to discuss about the process choice decisions. So here in process choice decisions, so the firm generally produce their goods and services in response to their customers' orders and demand, or in the anticipation of them. So here in the process choice decisions, or it is also called as process selection, is that it refers to the way an organization chooses to produce its goods or services. So here in the process selection, so an organization really have to decide or choose on what are the processes they will take to produce their goods and services. So in line to this, so it takes into account the selection of technology, capacity planning, layout of facilities, and the design of work systems. So first, we will discuss about selection of technology. So the technology is very essential in an organization wherein they can really work easier and faster, and the flow of their operations will be continuously. So in the process selection, so the organization really have to select the technology that was suited to the operations that they're going to take. So for example, other organizations will have to produce chocolates. So therefore, first thing they will do is that they will have to purchase their raw product, like for example the cacao, which in turn to chocolate. So therefore, if you are going to manufacturing a chocolate, so therefore the technology that you are going to use is suited to the operations or to the products that you are going to produce. So that's organization really have to make sure on that, which they can select best or if good technology. Second is the capacity planning. So here in capacity planning, so in the capacity planning, so for an organization, so capacity would be an ability of a given system to produce output within a specific time period. So here in the capacity planning, so in operations, management capacity is referred to as an amount of the input resources available to produce relative output over a period of time. So in capacity planning, some organizations also have to make sure that they have a capacity or amount of resources available before they will produce some goods or services. So this capacity planning also includes their employees. So for example, in an organization, so they have to take where on how many employees they are going to provide to produce their goods and services. And also, this capacity planning is very essential to be determining optimum utilization of resource and plays an important role in decision-making process. So for example, extension of existing operations, modification to product lines, and then distorting to new products. So capacity planning also is one of the process selections that we need to take an account. So next will be the layout of facilities. So when we say facility layout, so this refers to the way in which workstations, equipment, machinery, and employees are positioned within a work facility. So it means that here in a facility layout, so organizations really also have to make sure that their equipment, their technology was being positioned in an appropriate manner. So this facility layout also considers available space, the final product, the safety or use of users, and facility and convenience of operations. Diba? And the process selection, so the organizations really have to make sure that their technology and other equipments was being placed in a safety manner, because also it was very convenient for the operation also to move the productions slowly and faster. So in the facility layout also, it really have to consider also the final product. Wherein, for example, if you have building a the production of the chocolate. So therefore, if there are many facilities like technologies, equipment, so you have also to consider the available space of that. So for example, you have to put your equipments on the side because naapaput sa laing side nga imong mabutangan, which is imong mga final product baka. So in the final slot layout, it is very important for the safety of the users. So this also was very important in the convenience of operations, wherein you can move freely and easily and faster because you've already positioned your equipment or technology in a specific place. So that's it. So next is the design system or design work system, wherein it deals with a systematic examination of the methods of doing work. So with an aim of finding the means of effective and efficient use of resources and setting up of standards of performance for the work being carried out. So here in the work system design or the system design system works design. So here in the design work system, wherein it is flexible because it takes into account the system components and interdependencies between system components. For example, work tasks. So our organization here in design is that the organization have to plan on whom will facilitate the technology and equipment for the safety of the users, and also they will assign each of their employees. For example, one employee will be assigned in inspecting the technologies. One employee will be assigned in budgeting for them also to have a successful monitoring of their business. So that's it. So as what I have said earlier, that in the process choice decisions, so the firms generally produce their goods and services in response to their customers' order and demand or to the anticipation of them. So this leads to the three types of goods and services. So the first one is the custom or make to order, and then the second one is the option oriented or the assemble to order, and the lastly is the standard or the make to stock. First is the custom or make to order. So these are goods and services that are generally produced and delivered in a small quantities. So it means nga ang firm is mag-deliver sila og small quantities nga goods and services to their customers. Because monggot is that the customers will first place their order after na ang company mo manufacture sa order sa customers, mao na mag-deliver sila mo small quantities. So kanipong firm ani ang ilang processes is that maghulat sa sila nga naa sila ma-receive nga order sa customer before nila i-manufacture. So wala pa ni sila gihimo or gi-produce na goods and services. Ani niya, that is why it is delivered in a small quantities. So this custom also so an example of custom or make to order are ships, internet sites, weddings, taxi service, estate plans, buildings, and the surgery. So to better understand this one sa custom is that, di ba maingon ko ganina nga, ang customer will first place their order after na nga i-produce sa company ang ilahang gi-order sa customer. So, ma-deliver niya siya small quantities. For example, ano niya is the weddings. So, for example, I am the customer, I am the bridesmaid. So, I want my wedding venue to be unique. So, that is why I will have to decide first myself on what are the plans that the company will going to do, or the wedding organizer, that for them also to follow what I have said. Ang akong plano nga, akong giingon. So therefore, after I place my order, so the wedding organizer will then take an action sa kung unsang ako ang mga plano ang gipambuhat. So sila na din to magkanang himo sa for example, I want to have a 6 layers of cake. Then I have also then I want also that my wedding venue is beautiful, like I have in the middle a heart baka nakuan tapos na yung mga balloons nila. So for me as a bridesmaid, so it takes too long yun para mahuman, but in the end it will be worth it because ang ako ang designs ang nasunod nga plano. So mauna siya sa custom or make to order, wherein ako may mag-place of order daan before na i-manufacture sa company ang ako ang order. So, wala pa sila yung mga ipang-produce ng goods and services sa firm because nagulat pa sila nga naa sila ma-receive ng order to their customers. So, mauna siya sa customer or make to order. So, ang example para masabtan pa dyan, ang example ana is that, di ba, many of us today wants to be unique sa ato mga clothing, like that. So, in the beauty pageants, di ba, beauty pageant, so naano na sila kuandaan nga nagplano kung unsay suoton sa ilahang kanang mga candidates. So, for example, nag-decide na sila, for example, naano siya necklace diri gibutang, tapos ang kaniyang kanang sanina is full of kanang diamonds, like that. So, after pag-place na sa order, nga naka-layout na dito ang mga plano sa usa ka customer, so, dayon, ang company nga best in doing designs, well then, take an action. Well then, produce that clothing nga para masuha sa beauty queen. So, it would take longer talaga, but in the end, worth it your job ang pagkuha sa customer because her designs was being organized or kanang exact on the said plan nga iyahang giingon sa usa ka organizer sa clothing baka. So that's it in the custom. So here naman in the option-oriented. So these are goods and services that are configurations of standard parts, sub-assemblies, or services that can be selected by customers from a limited set. So ibig sabihin sa option-oriented is that there are many companies nga mao ni ilang gigamit nga strategy wherein they have some sub-assemblies of the parts or products sa nga ilahang produce. So na-produce na sila og kanang mga parts or products and services, and if the customers wants to assemble the parts of their kanang naano ba nila nga mga products, so the company will be able to do that because their strategy is an option where they option. So the example for that is that Dell computers, Subway sandwiches, machine tools, travel agent services. So, di ba, in Dell computers, so one of the strategy nga ilang gigamit ang option-oriented, wherein, for example, I'm the customer. So, I have a computer na daan. Tapos, ganahan ko nga ang akong computer is na siya keyboard nga katong musiga-siga. So, I have to go to that company wherein they can manufacture or build the asa akong ganahan na gusto. For example, also is that I will have to change the CPUs of my computers like that. So I have really an option. I can really change my computer's parts because mao na sa process sa usa ka company pod wherein nga maka-choose ko sa akong mga options whether akong pilisan akong keyboard katong musiga-siga baka dahil akong mouse nga with different and unique features. So like that, muna siya sa option-oriented or the assemble to order. So here in the standard or make to stock. So these are goods and services that are made according to fixed design and the customer has no options from which to choose. So kaning sa standard mix to stock, it means nga ang firm is na-produce na sila o goods and services. Tapos, i-anticipate na dadaan nga ganahan, mauli ganahan sa usa ka customer. So, di sa customer, di wala na kay option nga makapili pa sa kung unsa imong ganahan nga designs because na-fix naman nila ang design. So, for example, ano niya is ang appliances, ang shoes, sporting goods, online web courses, bus service, and the credit cards. So, sa standard, also in standard manggod is that standard goods are made in anticipation of customer demand and stock and inventory. So, naghunahuna na anticipate na daan sa usa ka firm nga mauni mo boom nga mga products. So, that is why they produce it. Ang uban nilang gistock. So, next, we will be talking about the 4 types of presses that are used to produce goods and services. So, we have 4. So, the first one is the projects. The second one is the job shop presses. The third one is the flow shop presses. And lastly, is the continuous flow processes. So, first, we'll discuss about the projects. So, these projects are large-scale, customized initiatives that consist of many smaller tasks and activities that must be coordinated and completed to finish on time and within budget. So, when we say budget, these are a large scale. So, in the projects, it is a product or service based production system where a company accepts a single, complex, and large contract in the form of a project. So the order must be completed within a given period of time and at an estimated cost. So, diba, for example, on this project is the constructions of airports, dams, roads, buildings, shipbuildings, building mass rapid transportation systems, legal defense preparation, and the software development. So that are the examples of the projects. So, diba, when we construct a road or a building, so we should really have to set a plan on when can we finish it. So, mauna siya. There is a completed plan for that. So, the second type of process is the job shop processes. So, these are organized around particular types of general purpose equipment that are flexible and capable of customizing work for individual customers. So, this means that in job shop processes, each item has their own processing route and takes different paths. So, in simpler words, so the non-standardized of high variety and different types are produced in lower volume and in job shops production system. So, for example, so we have here a 100 unit green colored bottles and 150 units black colored bottles and the 100 units white colored bottles are running through the production at the same time at separate production lines within the same production facility or factory, so that the finished bottles of 3 different colors are obtained separately from the 3 production lines simultaneously. So this is an example of job shop system. So as you can see here, diba? And the job shop manggod is that each item has their own processing route. So as you can see here, na ang isa, ang first naghimo sa firm is 100 units green colored bottles. Ang isa pod 150 units pero black ang color sa bottles. And lastly is 100 units per white ang color sa bottle. So they are running through production at the same time. So naghimo sila at the same time sa pag-produce sa products but in a separate production lines within the same production facility or factory. So this means nga para separate sila para ang finished bottles bisan nagkanang separate sila ang productions lines na ginahimo but in the end simultaneous. So, duhan sila pagkahimo or pagka-finish sa bottle sa 3 different colors. So, mauna siya sa job shop processes. An example of job shop processes are the hospitals, legal services, and some restaurants. So, the characteristics of this job shop are significant setup under changes over time, low to moderate volume, batching, process routes with some repetitive steps as what I've said earlier, na example katong tulog ka colored bottles, and then customized design to customer specification, many different products, and high workforce skills. So that is the job shop processes. So next, we will going to talk about the flow shop processes. So, flow shop process, these are organized around a fixed sequence of activities and process steps such as an assembly line to produce a limited variety of similar goods or services. So, here in the flow shop process is that the production can be broken down to small, repetitive, continuous tasks. So, it is also having a low variety with the high volume of products that are produced. So, it can be used in many identical or similar types of products that can be produced using machines or semi-skilled workforce. So, the product to assemble, as they flow along the production line, be operate to a semi-skilled, cheaper identical products. So, these flow shops tend to use highly productive, specialized equipment, and computer software. So, it means that in the flow shop process, both machines and humans work together to produce products of similar types and huge quantity. But here is that production does not run continuously around the year. So, mauto siya ang sa flow shop processes. So, ang example sa flow shop process is that automobiles, the appliances, insurance policies, checking account statements, and hospital laboratory works. As I have said earlier, nasa flow shop, both ang machines o ang humans ang mag-produce sa goods and services. So, kausa na sila sa flow shop processes. So, here are the characteristics of flow shop. So these are little or no setup, dedicated to a small range of goods or services that are higher or similar sequence of process steps, and moderate to high volumes. So mauna siya ang sa flow shop processes. So next, we will be tackling about the continuous flow process. So this creates highly standardized goods or service, usually around the clock in very high volume. So in continuous production, most of the work is done by machines rather than humans. So in this type of production process, the production is continuous 24 hours, 7 days in a week, all days in a year. So here usually there is just a small variation in the products and same type of product flow continuously through a linear process. So an example of continuous flow process are automated car washes, paper and steel mills, paint factories, and many electronic information-intensive services such as the credit card authorization and the security systems. So this continuous flow process has its characteristics. So these are very high volumes in a fixed pricing sequence, not made from discrete parts, high investment in equipment and facility, dedicated to a small range of goods and services, automated movement of goods or information between process steps, and the 24-hour, 7-day continuous operations. So for you to understand better, so the difference between the flow shop production or the process and the continuous flow processes is that in flow shop production, so both machines and humans work together to produce the goods and services. While in the continuous flow process is that most of the work is done by machineries rather than humans. So this production is continuous 24 to 7 hours or all over the year. So that's it. Next, we will be talking about the product life cycle. So there are 4 phases of product life cycle. So the first one is the introduction, second is the growth, third is the maturity, and the fourth is the decline and turnaround. So we will first focus on the introduction. So as you can see here in the example below, so y-axis represents sales volume and the x-axis represents the time. So after successfully developing a product, the first stage is the introduction, wherein the product is being launched in the market. So this stage includes substantial investment in advertising and marketing, focus on making consumers aware of the product's features and its benefits. So the company is first able to get a sense of how consumers respond to the product, if they like it or not, or how successful it may be. So the reason introduction is mauna first pa is the product is being launched in the market. So then the firm na dayon have a thorough plan on how can the consumers be aware that they have a products or services na ginahimo. So that is why they invest in advertising and marketing. So their first focus also in the company is that in the sense that they will get on how consumers respond to their product. So if they like it ba, ganahan ba sila, or dili, sa maauto siya sa introduction. So next phase is the growth stage. So after successfully developing a product, so a gradual rise of its sales curves can be seen. So as you can see here at the curve, so you can see a gradual increase or rise of the sales curve. So at some point in this rise, a significant increase in consumer demand occurs and started to take off. So makikita tayo ang consumer demand is nagka-increase na siya, but sales started to take off. Wag na ang curve kay may down na siya. So if the competition of the product becomes high, so the company have to invest in advertising and promotion to compete out competitors. So diba here in the growth stage, so if the competition becomes high, so therefore a company should have to invest in advertising and the promotion. Now, activities for the customers also to notice or to be aware that you have the product or services being sold. So here in growth sales, so more new customers are becoming aware of the product and trying it. So if the customers get satisfied with the product, so they will actually buy it again and again here in the growth stage, because you invest on the promotions like that. So next is the maturity stage. So here in the maturity stage, so this is the most profitable stage of the product life cycle. So as the production volume increasing, so the cost of producing and marketing decline. So also, its sales tend to slow, that indicating a like saturated market. So as you can see, diba, na maturity stage, profitable na kaayo ang product nimo. But as the production volume increasing, ang daghan na kay imong produce sa products and services nimo, so the cost of producing and marketing also declines. So the sales tend to slow, kay that indicating the like saturated market. So there is a maturity is daghan na kayo. Makita nimo nga naka-increase na ang competition. Even though nag-produce kag more produce kag more goods and services, but then ang sales nimo is na slow na siya because na kay rivalry, na kay mga daghan ka compete. So so companies will reduce the marketing, starts to develop new or alternative products. So in this way na dayon daw, so kay nagka-slow naman ang imong sales ani nga part sa maturity because ka-increase na imong competitors. So that is why the companies, you will have to reduce the marketing. So imo na pausan-ubusan ang imong pag-produce sa goods and services, tapos you have to start to develop new or alternative products to reach different market segments. So after na nimo nga kabalo na ka, ay kanan na slow na kaya akong sales, sige ako mag-produce og goods and services pero na slow na akong sales. So as a firm or companies, so dapat yun magplano ka or mag-start ka to develop new products or alternatives. So that first of the alternatives here is that you have to segment. You have to do a market segmentation. For example, the customers, you will segment how much their income, the lifestyle of your customers, their age, peer influence, occupation, and family size. So longer or shorter maturity stage depending on the product. So for some brands, the maturity stage is very drawn out. For example, is the Coca-Cola. So diba, as you can see in the Coca-Cola company that they are innovating or producing new alternatives or new products because once they so nagaling na low na ang ilang sales, drop na lang sales, so they innovate something more better products that the customers wants also or desires because they company segments. They do market segmentations wherein they will identify the income, the lifestyle, the age, the family size of their customers or the whole population. So next is the decline stage. So as you can see here on the the decline stage for every product is unavoidable because of the deletion of the product from the market. So kaning decline stage kay unavoidable na gyud nato, di na nato ni makalikayan nga ma-delete or mawala ang atong product sa market. So in this stage of the product life cycle, product sales drop rapidly and consumers' behavior changes as there is decreasing demand for the product. So nang makita nato diri nga ang sa decline stage, ang sales kini drop na, nagkaubos na ang sales, o ang consumers behavior pod is nagkawala or nagka-change na ang ilahang consumers behavior. That is why, as you can see here, then na-decrease na ang demand sa product. So eventually, the product will be discontinued from the market. So kaya nakita naman natin nga na-drop na ang sales, tapos na-change na ang behavior sa imong consumers, which in turn, decrease or drop the sales of your product. So therefore, imo na i-discontinued ang imong product from the market. Because kay na-drop naman ang ilang sales o na-change na na-decrease na ang demand sa product because of the change of consumers' behavior. So therefore, sa turnaround nila to recover what they have lost, so therefore, in order for them to make it a profitable one, so the company will take control. So dapat dito when they notice that na-decrease na ng sales, to mag-take control na din sila in performing critical cash management, tapos reducing assets. So ilan na itong reduce-reducean ang ilang products, goods, and services ang ginahimo, o they will start a cost reduction measures. So, mauna siya sa 4 phases of product life cycle. So next, we will be tackling about the 2 approaches to help understand the relationship between product characteristics for goods and services and the process choice decisions. And these are the product process matrix and the service positioning matrix. So first we will be tackling about the product process matrix. So the product process matrix was first proposed by Hayes and Wheelwright. So this is a model that describes the alignment of process choice with the characteristics of the manufactured good. So the most appropriate match between type of product and type of process occurs along the diagonal in the product process matrix. As you can see here, and the marketing product characteristic decisions in this exhibit, so you can see the product process matrix. So this is the product process matrix. So as you can see here, that as what it says here, that this model describes the alignment of process choice with the characteristics of the manufactured goods, as you can see here in the diagonal one. So these projects, job shops, flow shops, and the continuous flow are the process choice decisions or the types of processes that are used to produce goods and services. And then behind this one, or the alignment of this one, was their characteristics. So it says here that the most appropriate match between type of product and type of process occurs along the diagonal in the product process matrix. So as one moves down the diagonals, as you can see, as one moves down the diagonals, so the emphasis on both product and process structure shifts from low volume and high flexibility to higher volumes and more standardizations. For example, di ba, makita na ito ang alignments. For example, there is a project, so unsay naka-align niya, which is ang iyang characteristic nga one of a kind, large scale, complex, wide variation of tasks, and the resources to site. So, mao na siya yung characteristics sa projects nga naka-align. So, next is the job shops. Iya pong alignment, ang strict alignment niya is the characteristic of having a high setup time, the batching, the many process routes, customize many different products, and the general high-level skills. Then, the flow shops also, ang iyang characteristic that was aligned, being aligned, or the low or no setup time, the highly similar products, the dominant line flow, and the specialized skills. And lastly will be the continuous flow. Iyang characteristics is that it is high in investment in equipment and facility, not made from discrete parts, automated, and the 24-hour, 7 days continuous operation. So, di ba, nakala nyo siya, mga siya ang model na na-describe sa process decisions and its characteristics of the manufactured goods. So, yun dili, if product and process characteristics are not well matched, so the firm will be unable to achieve its competitive priorities effectively. So, nakaingon daw ko ni Dewey, if isang projects, wala siya na mismatch sa iyang characteristic good, so ang firm is unable to achieve sa iyang competitive priorities. Di ba, sa gidiscuss sa Chapter 2, ang competitive priorities are the quality, the cost, quality, time, innovation, and the flexibility. So, if na-mismatch siya, example, ang projects na abot diri sa characteristics sa flow shops. So, unable yun nga ma-achieve sa firm ang competitive priorities, which is ang flexibility, ang quality sa product. Because wala man siya naka-aligned sa between each characteristics of each process choice decisions. So, mauna siya ang pag-describe sa model sa product process matrix. That is why ang product process matrix is really helpful for us to better understand or identify what are the processes that we have to take for our business to be successful. O kung po, better understand the characteristics that we are going to use in manufacturing our products and services. So, that's all. And that's all for my discussion. And the second reporter will be John De Mayordo, my partner.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John De Mayordo, and I introduce you a service positioning matrix. What is a service positioning matrix? Show how the desired nature of the customer service encounter activity sequence translate into a recommendation. Service system design. Concepts such as the service encounter, design, activity sequence, and degree of repeatability in the activity sequence are defined and used in the matrix. For me, service positioning matrix is a product positioning creates an image of the company's product in the mind of consumers, highlighting the most important benefits that differentiate the product from similar products in the market. After the segmenting the target market by demographic and physiographic attributes, marketers must understand customer needs. And the next one is the pathway. What is a pathway? Pathway is a unique rate I wrote through a service system. Pathways can be customers driven and provider driven depending at the level of control the service firm to ensure. For me, pathways is have three types sequence of pathways, that is a build, borrow, and buy. Why I can say build, borrow, and buy? Pathways, it's because when it comes to growth, to many companies are one, three companies they might, for example, have a tiers for acquisitions. So they focus extensively on the gobbling up other companies even when that might not be the best option for them. And the next is a customer routed service. Customer routed service are those that offer customers broad freedom to select the pathways that are best suited for their immediate needs and wants from many possible pathways throughout the service delivery system. Customer service is the support you offer your customer both before and after the buy and use for products or the end service that helps them have an easy and enjoyable experience with you. For example, searching the internet of purchase an item and visiting a park. That is a customer routed service. The next is provider routed service. Provider routed service is constrained customer to follow a very small number of possible and predefined pathways throughout the service system. For me, provider routed service is a example, newspaper dispenser or logging into a secure online bank account or automatic teller machine or ATM or mailing and processing a package using the AS portal service, Federal, Express or apps. And the next is a service encounter activity sequence. Service activity sequence consists of all the process steps and associated service encounters necessary to complete a service transaction or fulfill a customer's wants and needs. It depends on two things. 1. The degree of customer's creations, freedom and decisions making power in the selecting the service encounter activity sequence. 2. The degree of repeatability of the service encounter activity sequence. And for me, service is encounter at direct interactions between a service provider and customers and may take varying form. For example, a bank customer wishing to make account inquiries and make choose between an interactions with an ATM or over the internet or with a bank employee by telephone, letter, or face-to-face in the branch. That is a service encounter activity sequence. And the next is a processes design. What is a processing design? A process design ensure that there are smooth and continuous selections shift between required output and all the intermediate process. For example, manufacturing or conditioners, air conditioners, process design has to be such a maximum supply is achieved during the hot month of summer when demand of the product is as the highest. Processing design is have 4 levels of work. Task. Task is a specific unit of work required to create an output or a plan expliciting how various components of tasks are combined to the function and particular environment. Next is activity. Activity is a group task needed to create a deliver immediately of final output. It is the process by which use further defines how it will implement an activity that contributes achieving the intended result of project. Process there is smooth and continuous relationship between required output and all the intermediate process. For example, manufacturing of air conditioners process design has to be just a maximum supply. It is achieved during the hot months and summer when demand of the product is the highest. The next is a value chain. What is a value chain design? Value chain is completing a value chain's analysis, allows business to examine their activities and find competitive opportunities. For example, McDonald's mission is to provide customer with low price food and items. That is a mission of the McDonald's. And the next is process and value stream mapping. Have a design and goods products or service providing process requires 6 majors of activities. 1 is define the purpose and objective of the process. 2, create a detailed process or value stream map that describe how the process is currently performed. 3, evaluate alternative process design. 4, identify and define appropriate performance measures for the process, select the appropriate equipment and technology. 6 is develop an implementation plan to produce the new or the revised process design. And that's all.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This is the continuation of the report of Pang-An's group, which entitled Process Selection, Design, and Analysis. Process map or flow chart describes the sequence of all process activities and tasks of necessary to create and deliver or desired output or outcome. Kining process map is a visual diagram which ga-explain siya about sa pagsunod-sunod sa process sa mga task nga para maka-create and delivered output or outcome. Process map also called a flow chart, process flow chart, process chart, functional process, process model, workflow diagram, business flow diagram, or process flow diagram. It shows who and what is involved in a process. Most importantly, process map will help to gain better understanding of a process. Process map is important in the businesses or organization to improve process efficiency such as operations, finance, supply chain, sales, marketing, and accounting. Process boundary is the beginning or end of a process, are also the point of interface between processes, which what you deliver interfaces with other systems in which the production function. For a tire company, the boundary would be the point between the tire and wheel. Analysis of the product should consider the tire and how it interfaces to the wheel. For an advertising agency, the product boundary would be the point between the ad placed in a magazine and the magazine itself. Design of the ad needs to consider the context in which it is placed, the magazine, its market, etc. Value stream refers to all value-added activities involved in designing, producing, and delivering goods and services to customers. Kining value stream kay example ka ng product from raw materials process into a finished product. Ang purpose man good sa value stream is to view the entirely means all of something from beginning to end and create a plan to optimize efforts in getting the company to its desired outcomes. By illustrating the current state, a value stream map allows you to know where there are current gaps.
So here we go to the exhibit 5.5. Let's discuss all the process about automobile repair flowchart. So first is automobile needs repair and servicing. Customer calls for an appointment. Customer service representative makes appointment and logs on computer. Customer arrives. Customer talks to customer sales representatives and mechanic. Customer waits and generate repair order. Mechanic diagnoses problems and auto repairs completed and inspected. Bill and repair explain to customer. Customer pays bill, explain services guarantee. Customer leaves, follow up phone call and survey. Then customer leaves repair process or agreement reached and end. So mao ni siya ay flow jud sa Exhibit 5.5 automobile repair flow chart. So next is let's discuss all the process about restaurant order posting and fulfillment process. So first kay Walter places customer mail order on order board assume zero time. So next, order waits 5 minutes. Chef pickups order and checks is it accurate 1 minute. Chef stages raw material 4 minutes. Chef cooks meal 12 minutes. Ovens 10 minutes. Then chef assembles order 3 minutes. Prepared order waits for pickup 5 minutes. Then waiter pick up customer order assume zero time and end. So mao ni siya ay flow sa jud sa restaurant order posting and fulfillment process. So next is restaurant order posting and fulfillment process. So parehara sila atong ikaduha nga chart nga akong gipakita. So ang nakalainan diri is naa siya value added activities o non value added activities. So first is non value added activities. So order waits on order board at 5 minutes per order times 1 hour over 60 minutes times 5 per hour is equal to $0.417 and shift pickups order and checks is it accurate at 1 minute per order times 1 hour over 60 minutes times 30 per hour is equal to $0.50. And if order is accurate, shift stages raw material at 4 minutes per order times 1 hour over 60 minutes times 30 per hour is equal to $2. And shift cooks meal using ovens at 12 minutes per order times 1 hour over 60 minutes times 30 per hour is equal $6 labor cost. And 10 minutes per order times 1 hour over 60 minutes times $10 over our oven cost is equal to $1.67 equipment cost. And total labor and oven cost is equal to $7.67. And chef assembles order at 3 minutes per order times 1 hour over 60 minutes times 30 per hour is equal to $1.50. And last is prepared order waits for waiter to pick up customers order at 5 minutes per order times 1 hour over 60 minutes times 60 per hour is equal to $5. And total time is equal to 20 minutes plus 10 minutes is equal to 30 minutes. So ang kaning sa 20 minutes is sa kuan ni siya sa value added activities and kaning 10 minutes is sa non value added activities. Then the total cost is equal to 11.67 value added cost plus $5.417 non value added cost is equal to $17.87.
Process analysis and improvement, increasing revenue, increasing agility, increasing product, decreasing cost, decreasing process, increasing revenue, which is improving process efficiency and creating goods and services and delivery of the customer benefit. Revenue is what keeps your business alive. Beyond being a lifeline, revenue can give you key insights into your business. If you want to increase your business profits, you need to increase your revenue. By keeping an eye on your revenue and focusing on increasing it, you can also increase your profits. Focusing on branding and quality can help sustain higher prices and sales and ensure higher profits margins over the long term. Increasing agility. which is improving flexibility and response to changes in demand and customer expectation. Using agility, organization can increase the speed of decisions and product development, as well as shorten the time between the conception. And not only does business agility help you adjust to market changes, but it also help you adjust to internal changes. What's more, business agility grows and changes with the market as well, adapting to shifts and trends. Having a framework that prepares your business for change make you even stronger. Increasing product, which is service quality by reducing defects, mistakes, failures, or service upsets, which mean you need to improve your quality or product by reducing defects, mistakes, failures, or service upsets. By developing new product and services, you can sell more to existing customer, decreasing cost, which is technology or elimination of non-value added activities, involve work that consumes resources but does not add value to the product or services. Decreasing process, which is reducing waiting time or speeding up movement through the process and value chain, which mean you need the time management in processing a product from raw materials into finished product. Reengineering, defined as the fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of business process to achieve dramatic improvement in critically contemporary measures performance, such as cost, quality, service, and speed. Kumbaga, re-engineering is kanang mag-change kag mga pamaagi sa pag-run sa business or organization in order to make it more successful. Radical redesign involves tossing out existing procedures and reinventing the process, not just incrementally improving it. Redesign, which is it will determine the best construct processes to improve how they conduct business. It will help to maximize the customer value and minimize the consumption of resources. Radical redesign, which is process to achieve dramatic improvements in productivity, cycle times, and quality. Process design and resource utilization. Utilization is a fraction of time work station or individual is busy over the long run. Utilization is defined as the amount of an employee's available time that used for productive, valuable work expressed as percentage. Two ways of computing resource utilization. First way, utilization or V equals resources used, resources available, utilization, or U, demand rate over service rate times number of services.